How's it going, guys? This is Ryo Murata, photographer based in Tokyo, SFL 125, aka SFL Aerocolor 125. I picked up this film stock at Champ Camera, did not know much about it until done my research, and I realized that this film stock is a respool of Aerocolor film stock, but spooled in Mother Russia. Moscow, Russia. So I had some hard time sort of like during my Tateyama trip to shoot with this film stock actually, along with my GW690. But instead I stuck this SFL 125 35mm version into my Konica C35 to see what I could get from it. And if you guys do not know, SFL 125, which is also named Sreda Film Labs, is actually if I'm right, this is sort of like a professional sort of like lab based in Moscow, Russia. I don't know because I don't speak Russia, but they apparently have some kind of online website and you can purchase like film stocks and also like accessories like t-shirts and stuff. But because it's in Russia, I could not like get any information. But the scientific name of this film stock is Kodak Aerocolor IV 2460. And for additional information for you guys, this Aerocolor IV 2460 is exactly the same film stock being used in Santacolor 100, if I did my research correctly. If I'm right, SFL 125 and Santacolor 100 is probably the exact same film stock. If not, the ISO is maybe the only difference, but the film stock itself is probably 100% the same. So unfortunately, Santacolor 100 is not being available in Japan. However, the SFL 125 is. So I thought it would be nice to like shoot with this film stock while I was at my sort of like trip at Tateyama, Chiba, and basically stuck this into my Konica C35 to see how it would like perform. And I basically looked at the product description, and as what Kodak says, it says that Aerocolor IV negative film 2460 is sort of like generally used for medium to high altitude aerial mapping, aerial photography, and it's suited for these like geographical, pollution, archaeological, and crop forestry type of studies. So probably, if I'm right, it has a sort of like a small grain, and it's sort of like really high, sort of like sharp. You get a high sharp image if you use a sort of like high quality camera. But keep in mind, I shot it using the C35, which isn't the best in the world. It's more like a point and shoot, actually, not a point and shoot, but more like a manual compact camera. So the lens itself isn't super sharp, and the results I actually got from shooting with this film stock was I was getting sort of like a blurred out shot, but this film stock has a sort of like characteristics of having a stronger like red and orange, warmer type of like color spectrum. So it's sort of like similar to Lomography 100 in my opinion. after like shooting and looking at the like film negatives, getting it scanned in home actually, I realized there were a couple of things. One is that I guess it's sort of like similar to Cinestill 800T, where depending on what kind of camera you use, Cinestill 800T, typically the first frame you get some kind of weird color cast and stuff like that. The SFL 125, the first 2-3 photos actually had color cast or light leak, or I don't know what you would call it, but the colors look irregular in that sense. And I guess this is due to the fact that typically when you respool from the original film stock, so the Kodak Aerocolor 2460, they come in these like big ass what you call canisters actually. And when they basically purchase that film to, I guess, third-party manufacturers, they basically slot them in a sort of like a specific like machine, and they basically try to like spool that onto these 35 ml canisters. However, if light goes into that during that process, you get some kind of light leak and stuff like that, and it could ruin that sort of like photos. And I guess they kind of messed up on that first 1, 2, 3 frames in my opinion, because of the, you know, how it like looks. But after the 4th, 5th, and 6th like frame shot, it looks natural in my eyes, and from there on I had no issues shooting with this film stock, and it like produced really nice results in my opinion. And there were a couple of shots that I wish I shot with my GW690, but I didn't have the time to do so, but instead I shot with a Konica C35. And yeah, that's basically it on my sort of like shooting with the SFL 125. It's a really unique ISO speed of 125. I typically overexpose and shot around 100 or so because that's a clean number. I don't want to like, typically a clean number was like ISO 100, 200, 400, 800, 1600 and stuff like that. If you go in between, it's actually really like hard to like calculate and also punch that number into the light meters and stuff like that. Like weird numbers is like 125, 160, 320, 640. I forgot what the number I so the weird number in between the ISO 800 and 1600, 1200 or something like that. So I actually tried to like shoot during like clean numbers for the ISO values, so I shot it in ISO 100, going a little bit off topic. But I kind of regret not shooting this film stock on the Nikon F3 because, like I said, this film stock is meant for use in geographical like photography, aerial photography, which means that there's not much graying going on, so it's like really clean and sharp. You get a sharper image, but I guess that would depend on what kind of camera lens combination. And you guys probably know Nikon camera lens combinations have the highest like resolution in terms of 35, similar to like using Canon cameras and stuff like that. I should have used it on an SLR instead of using on a sort of like a compact camera. So if I have another opportunity of shooting this film stock, I will try shooting it with my SLR to see how it looks. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, I'm happy to reply. And probably because it's made in Russia and because there's not much information regarding this film stock, I'm happy to hear from you guys. If you know more than me, I mean, sharing knowledge is a really powerful thing. So leave it in the comments section in below. Happy to reply. So yeah, we will see you next time. Peace out, guys. Okay, so to make my channel sort of like interactive, I might do a Q&A section or video actually. So just leave any kind of questions if you're interested, like in the section below actually. Like I'm gonna stockpile up on a lot of questions, not regarding just like on photography in general, but it could be digital, it could be film, it could be because I'm living in Tokyo, any questions on that. And I'll try to stockpile on all those questions and probably allocate in one video on answering all those questions, and probably in 10 minutes or so. So to make it entertaining and to make it sort of like interactive with you guys. And yeah, I'm not into live videos and stuff like that because everyone has time constraints, and yeah, that would be unequal and stuff like that. So if you have like any random questions like lifestyle in Japan, how much is my rent and stuff like that, to the point where I can to the point where I can sort of like answer that, I will. Confidential stuff I can't, so private information. So yeah, if you have any questions, yeah, keep them up, keep them rolling, and yeah, I'll allocate one video on that. So cheers.